Yeah. People are so narrow-minded why just the other day a man was telling everyone that it was almost Judgment Day and that he was going to build a boat to escape the worldwide flood, and the only way you can be saved was to make sure you're on board. Now, I build boats and Noah doesn't, but he said it's God's design. And as I studied all his plans, I laughed so hard that I cried. The ship's the size of an office block. It'd take forever to make. It'd be so heavy that it would sink. Oh, this is all just one big mistake. And it only had this door so big and heavy that no one could ever close. It had no rudder, no way to steer. Oh, mate, it was a failure from head to toe. But what Noah said of a worldwide flood, I truly believed his stance. But to think that only his boat would be saved, that was the epitome of arrogance. The world had gone bad. It must be destroyed, is what every true Christian would note. But to think that God would demand that salvation was only found on Noah's boat? So I built a boat much better than Noah's, smaller and with a large winged keel. It was finished real quick before even Noah had started, and people took note of my skill because Noah's message scared many people and they liked the boats that I had to offer. I sold lots of boats and made lots of money. I was their insurance cover. Then 50 years on, with the bottom floor made, people just looked at Noah and stared. At this rate, the ark would never be built, so the flood really wasn't a threat. 100 years on and it still wasn't finished, and people laughed at that hulking contraption. By now no one wanted my boats anymore, so I made Noah a tourist attraction. Noah was kind and nice to me, and I knew his ark one day would be done. He reminded me often of what God said to him, that the flood would surely come. Then came the sign that surely was right. When animals flocked to his barge, convicted people then wanted my boats, and they paid whatever I charged. Us boat people waited, assured we were fine as we looked for the coming storm. I did pity Noah with his big finished boat, with no one to close his huge door. He preached his last sermon, inviting us into his boat, but we just smiled and laughed. His family then walked into the massive ship, and the door was miraculously shut. We all then piled into our boats, but the rain we expected didn't come. So after some days we had a big party, not believing how we were so dumb. But 7 days went and the sky opened up and the water poured down from above. We jumped in our boats and battened the hatches and watched as the earth become flood. God wasn't particular in which boat we were in. Surely all of us would survive. But as torrents of water buried the earth, I didn't think I would survive. My boat broke apart. I fell in the sea and my cry was not even heard. My dying thought as I plunged in the deep was, I should have believed all God's words. God doesn't mind if his words don't make sense. Just listen to all he does say. The people that God wants to live in his kingdom are those who will trust and obey. So before Jesus comes, on what day will you worship? Will it be God's or one made by tradition? Everyone will know on that day it's the Sabbath. Will you choose life and make the decision?